Call the Electoral Area Services Committee meeting of April the 9th to order. I acknowledge that we're located on the traditional territory of the Letchwatach people, and the first order of business is the adoption of the agenda.
Move adoption.
Second.
Thank you. Anything to add here? Seeing none. All those in favor? And that is carried. No petitions or delegations. Adoption of previous meeting minutes.
Move adoption.
Second.
Anything there? See none on adoption. All those in favor? That's carried. Business arising, anything there? No. No public considerations, notices of motion? None. No chair's report. We're on to staff reports. Number 1, environmentally sensitive area development permit, DP1D 25, Honig, for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Second.
Thank you.
Hello. Oh, there we go. Planning staff will speak to this.
Thank you through the chair to the directors. So the staff report presents an environmentally sensitive areas development permit application for 3041 Vaughan Road in Electoral Area D, which is triggered by a subdivision referral received by the SRD from the Ministry of Transportation and Transit. In accordance with the Oyster Bay Buttle Lake OCP, development within 30 meters from the top of bank of a stream connected to a fish habitat as identified in the Regional District Sensitive Habitat Atlas or as defined by the Riparian Areas Protection Regulation requires an ESADP prior to the commencement of development activities, including the legal subdivision of a parcel of land. A riparian area assessment report is being prepared by a qualified environmental professional, which has also been reviewed and approved by the Ministry of Water, Land and Resource Stewardship. The QEP is indicated in the assessment report that it is restricted to the legal subdivision of the property into 4 separate lots only, and that there will be no physical modification of the land, including no new clearing or alteration of vegetation within or adjacent to the riparian areas. Should any future development be proposed within the 30-meter buffer of the identified water courses impacting the subject property, a further ESADP will be triggered, along with a new riparian area assessment report by a QEP with recommendations to protect and maintain the species. Thank you
For that report. Anything further on receipt? See none, then I'll call the question on receipt. All those in favor? And that is carried. Motion, John, please.
I'd like to move item B, that the committee recommend approval of the environmentally sensitive areas development permit DP1D 25 Honig as attached to the April 9th, 2025 report, and that the corporate officer be authorized to issue the permit.
Second.
Thank you, Director Maloney. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. Number 2, Electoral Area C Official Community Plan Project Update for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Thank you, Director Manesh. Discussion?
Is staff speaking to it, or can we just ask questions?
Staff can speak to it if you wish.
Thank you to the committee through the chair. This report is to provide a periodic update on where we're at with the Area C OCP review project. Since the last update, we've wrapped up phase 1 and have made some good progress on early phase 2 initiatives. We've now sent out formal referral invitations to 23 First Nations with an interest in Area C and are responding to those, as well as scheduling focus group discussions with community organizations and working through that. We will continue to receive and respond to those expressions of interest, as well as continuing to work through legislative requirements and plan future topic-specific engagements while being mindful of the summer months. Thank you.
Anything from directors? Director Maloney?
Thank you, Chair. I had 2 questions. One of them in this report, it talks about phase 2 engagement, and it lists engaging with key interest groups. And there's another bullet which mentions a variety of community consultation. So does that mean that there will be further broad community consultation before the phase 3 section where staff draft the policies and objectives?
Thank you through the chair to the committee. That's absolutely correct. Thank you for that point. So once we finalize the existing early consultation that we've done and have gotten through some of the more focused consultation with key interest groups, we will be returning to the community on key topics more broadly. So different electoral or sections of the electoral areas will be invited to participate in key meetings with a focus on specific OCP topics, which will then help inform a draft for further discussion in the upcoming months.
Okay, that's awesome. And it sounds like you're planning on doing that in separate parts of Area C. Is that what I'm understanding?
Our goal would be to try to reach as much of electoral area C as we can, being mindful of, some of the parameters that need to be considered to get out to the outer islands, but certainly we will be doing a number of focus group meetings to try to gain as much insight to the policies for each of the portions of the electoral area that we can.
Amazing. Thank you. That's great to hear. And my other question is that the report talks about the community context data findings and that they are being completed in April 2025. And I was just curious, to me, it would be really awesome if that information was reported out and shared with the community as we head into more community group meetings, so that as a community and as interest groups, we can all have a greater understanding of the makeup of Area C. I'm curious if it's possible to release this as a short memo or report to EASC when it's completed. And I'm asking because, when I asked about the interviews with the community groups and their processes at the March Electoral Area Services Committee meeting, I was told that that information wouldn't be released until the end of the completed OCP process. And I'm reflecting on the process that we're engaging with the solid waste plan renewal, where the information is being released in stages as it's being developed. And it does feel a little bit more manageable to access that stuff in chunks. So I'm just wondering if there's possible consideration for releasing some of that community context information once it's been completed.
Again, yeah, thank you through the chair. As soon as information is available and begins to inform the official community plan, there will be updates made to our project page so that the community understands where consultation has been completed or where it's heading, key areas of focus where we find generalities between the more fulsome electoral area. So those updates will be provided on our project page. And where relevant, we are doing, again, monthly updates to EASC. So where we make progress, it would be appropriate for us to provide some of those updates through our reporting here at the Electoral Services Committee as well.
That's really positive. Thank you.
On receipt. Call the question. All those in favor? That is carried. Next item of business is Electoral Area D Stormwater Updated Study Results for receipt.
Move receipt.
Okay, Director
And I
Nash.
believe Sheena will speak to this.
Thank you. Through the chair to the directors. So this report was originally brought forward at the last Electoral Area Services meeting, where an additional request for an additional catchment to be added to the report was received. So we have added that additional catchment area, which is noted as subcatchment East Oyster River Rest Area and West Oyster River Rest Area, to the report. Adding that scope to the study increased the cost by $2,700, bringing the total cost of the study to just over $17,000. And we were informed just last week that we were successful in our infrastructure planning grant that will contribute $10,000 towards that $17,000 cost. So to move forward, we're seeking direction on whether or not we want to proceed to next steps with the entire area identified or any particular catchment or subcatchment areas. Happy to answer any other questions. Thank you.
Director Rice.
Thank you, Chair. I would like to proceed with the next steps, but I think we're going to exclude a couple of areas. So what I would like to do is exclude catchment A, and I would also like to exclude the Oyster River catchment and the Glenmore Road catchment, and then proceed from there. Thank you.
Okay, we're on receipt. Would we need a motion to do that, staff?
Yeah, I think what we'll do after receipt is that sounds like option A with those exclusions, correct?
With the exclusion.
Okay, thanks,
All
yeah.
right, then, on receipt, all those in favor? That is carried. Director Rice, motion?
So I'd like to move option A, noting the exclusion, so catchment A and then the Oyster River and Glenmore catchments.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is carried. Number 4, Quatiaski Coast Sewer System User Fee Review for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Thank you, Director Vanesh.
So, Mr. Chair, Mike may have a few words to say on this or not, but these are in follow-up with the financial plan and allocation policy as we identified that there was 3 user fee possible reductions within areas A, B, and C, and this happens to be the Q-Cove sewer fee review report, and options for the reductors follow.
Thank you. Any further discussion on receipt?
So I was going to say, I didn't have any in-depth comments. The one thing we did as part of the overhead allocation is we just did a simple exercise in all the functions to either adjust the taxes for a sub-function, or in the case where there's no taxes, we just put the amount to reserve. So we pretty much left the budget as is, and now we're just looking at the applicable benefits that run through. But yeah, so far the money is just offset to the reserve as opposed to the taxes. Hope that made sense.
Okey dokey. On receipt then, all those, got a question, Director Mooney?
Oh, no, I have a follow-up motion though.
Okay, on receipt, all those in favor? And that is carried. And a motion, Director Mooney.
Oh, yes, thank you. I would like to move option A, that the committee recommend a review of all rate categories be initiated and completed before finalizing the 2025 user fees and bylaw amendments in order to support financial stability and equitable cost distribution.
Second.
Thank you.
And I had one comment, and that
Go
was
ahead.
just to publicly say wow to Sheena and the engineering department for all the reports on this agenda. It's quite a lot. Great work.
On the motion, all those in favor? That is carried. Number 5, Seward Valley Solid Waste User Fee Review for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Thank you, Director Mooney.
And I think basically the same story, and I think the director has a option, Edith, if you want
We
to
do.
pull it up after receipt.
Thank you. On receipt then, all those in favor? That's carried. In the motion, Director Mooney, please.
I will move option B, that the committee recommend that the Seward Valley Solid Waste Collection Services Rate and Regulation Bylaw 2018 be amended to reduce the 2025 user fee by $33.87.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you, Director Vanesh. All those in favor? That is carried. 6, Cortez Solid Waste Service User Fee Review.
Move receipt.
Second.
Again, the same, Mr. Chair, to the user fee and the solid waste service, there's options, and we'll wait for the director's input.
Thank you. On receipt then, all those in favor? That's carried. Motion, Director Vanesh?
Thank you, Chair. Just to make it clear for all folks looking online, this is the Cortez Island's tax bills will increase by $64. However, through the cost allocation, the service cost for garbage pickup will decrease by $26.32. So I will be moving option B. I move that the committee recommend that the Cortez Island solid waste collection rates and regulations be amended to reduce the 2025 user fee by $26.32.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? That is carried. Number 7, License of Occupation Quadra School Garden for receipt.
Move receipt of the report.
Second.
Thank you, Director Vanesh.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I guess Hanukkah will speak to it. I don't see Jacob.
Thank you through the committee, or to the committee through the chair. This report is brought forward to you for consideration of a license of occupation that we have held with the School District 72 for Quadra School Garden. The Quadra School Garden was initially developed as part of a Katimbik group by the School District 72 back in 2000. At that time, it was hopeful that they would be able to continue to maintain and operate the Quadra School Garden. That was then provided to the regional district as an offer for a license of occupation between the school district and the Strathcona Regional District, with the thought that this would hopefully be maintained by volunteers. Unfortunately, that did not happen, and we have continued to contract out this service to contractors on Quadra Island for the ongoing maintenance and operations. At this time, we're at about $3,400 per year to operate and maintain the area. The area is completely within the jurisdiction of the school district and within the school district grounds. It is used quite well by the school itself, especially during the spring months. And there is a desire by the school to continue to have that facility in operation. And if the regional district looks to not continue operations through their license of occupation, that they would maintain that facility and retain all of the infrastructure that has been provided there. Should the regional district just decide to not enter into a license of occupation, it is thought that those funds, $3,400, could go towards other parks initiatives on Quadra Island, and the school district could maintain that facility on their own. Thank you.
Anything further on receipt? Director Winnie?
I just had one little question, and I will be moving the recommendation to terminate the SRD license of occupation, but excuse me, my question was that the report said that the garden has been infilled with naturally occurring vegetation, but is that also like native vegetation, or is that other sort of more invasive species? I couldn't tell from the report. Sounds like it's changed a lot over the 25 years of its existence.
Yeah, thank you through the chair. It is native vegetation. We have ongoing maintenance and operations to ensure that invasive types of vegetation are not proliferated throughout the school garden. And the native plant garden itself is something that the school uses as part of their learning program, especially in the spring months when there's blossoms and all of the things happening. So it's our understanding that the school will continue to maintain it in that manner.
Thank you.
On receipt, all those in favor? That is carried. Motion, Director Winnie?
Thank you, Chair. I would move that the committee recommend that the existing license of occupation with School District 72, Campbell River, over that portion of Lot 1, Plan 3162, and Lot 1, Plan 5216, Sayward Land District, known as Quadra School Garden, be terminated.
Second.
Director Rice? All those in favor? That is carried. On to bylaws, bylaw number 598, Cortez Island zoning bylaw survey results for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
And I believe Annie will speak to this.
Thank you to the committee through the chair. This report summarizes the findings of a recent community survey, which explores the level of interest for introducing a new regulation on maximum detached dwelling unit floor area, or maximum house size, however you want to say it, within the zoning bylaw. The survey was clearly of high interest, as there was very strong advocates responding to this survey, both opposed and in support. Overall, it received 415 total unique responses. The results are organized based on resident type, as shown in the report, with permanent residents having almost exactly 50% in support and opposed, with a difference of only one response. And amongst seasonal or part-time residents, 35% were in support, whereas 63% were opposed. The total for all combined responses including businesses and First Nations, indicated 44% were in support and 52% were opposed, and 3% were unsure or undecided. The survey also received 234 open-ended written responses, which indicated that there were some very strong feelings about the proposed regulation. Given the consultation findings, we present to the committee the proposed bylaw number 598 Cortes Island zoning bylaw for your consideration. Thank you.
On receipt? Director Manish?
Thank you. Have we done receipt?
No, we're waiting for you.
Yeah, just want to thank staff for doing this survey and also being responsive in extending the time for the survey. I think in the future, 1 week for a survey isn't enough, and 2 weeks should be a minimum. So I really appreciate staff being able to extend that. Also appreciate staff being able to extend to the survey to be able to have paper surveys as well. So those were distributed myself to the different post offices. So really appreciate staff on getting this out there. Obviously, a lot of interest in this. 400 people responding to a survey for a population of 1,100 is huge and clearly divided. Lots of strong opinions on both sides, and I really value democracy and being able for communities to have conversations around difficult things. There's not a clear answer here, so I will not be recommending a maximum house size on Cortes Island, and I do have a motion after receipt.
Thank you. On receipt, I'll call the question. All those in favor? And that is carried. And a motion, Director Manish?
Thank you. I move that the Cortes Island APC, or the Cortes Island zoning bylaw be referred to the Cortes Island APC and then brought back to EASC for consideration.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? And that is carried. Number 2, bylaw 600, Area D Universal Water Meter proposed amendment for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Nothing from staff, Mr. Chair.
Okay, anything from directors? Seeing none, on receipt, call the question. All in favor? That is carried. A motion, Director Rice.
Thank you, Chair. I'd like to move item B, that the committee recommend that bylaw number 600, being the Electoral Area D Water Service Rates and Regulation Bylaw 2018, Amendment number 6, be forwarded to the board for the first 3 readings and adoption.
Second.
Any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor? That's carried. Number 3, bylaw 601, Quad Island zoning amendment, RZ 1C 25, Fisherman's Landing for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Discussion?
Nothing from staff, Mr. Chair.
Call the question on receipt. All those in favor? Or did you have a comment, Director Mooney?
I had a question for staff.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm just curious, the rationale for recommending a virtual public hearing.
Okay, just let me suggest, if you don't lift your hand up real high, you can turn your light on and it'll catch it either way next time.
Do I need to ask that again?
What was the question, sir?
I was curious the rationale for recommending a virtual public hearing versus an in-person public hearing.
Thank you through the chair to the committee. Similarly to the last application that was done out on the outer rural islands, more difficult for us to get out to a location that's easily accessible for those that are most impacted by this application. This application itself is quite removed from Quadra Island, which is typically where we hold in-person public hearings, and to allow those residents that are most affected to easily participate in the public hearing, it is recommended that we hold a virtual public hearing so that these people don't have to boat in, to a location far removed from where they live on Quadra Island and then boat back again. And also still given the weather, I mean, the weather is still not ideal in April. So that was the recommendation by staff and was supported at the last for the last public hearing out in that area.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Call the question on receipt. All those in favor? That's carried. And do you have a motion, Director Mooney?
I will move the recommendation here that bylaw number 601, being RZ 1C25, Fisherman's Landing Lodge, be forwarded to the board for first and second reading, and to authorize the holding of a virtual public hearing.
Second.
Second.
Discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? That is carried. Down to correspondence. Cortez Island short-term rentals for receipt.
Move receipt, and I have some comments.
Second?
Go ahead, Director Vinesh.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to appreciate folks when they write into the SRD board or the EASC board. It's always great to hear from folks. The Short-Term Rental Accommodations Act has a lot of different opinions on whether it's appropriate for Cortez. However, the survey that I did was clearly in support of us opting into it. 63% said yes, 21% said no. So it wasn't really even close. And I do understand that this is not an ideal opt-in for some folks, but we are in a housing crisis. And I've already heard good news around places that have been Airbnbs, have been moving to rentals. So it's one of the small things we can do to have a positive impact on much needed housing on Cortez. And I also just want to address the how we do community engagement. I think there's lots of conversations on Cortez and other places. How do we engage people? How do we consult people on making the decisions that we have? And obviously the election is the ultimate ballot, but we have surveys that we can do, and they are imperfect, and not everyone is going to fill them out, but they're the best that we have, and I appreciate everyone that does stay engaged in that way, and it's my job to move the political will of the community forward. So I stand behind the decision, and I also appreciate hearing from folks that disagree. Thank you.
Anything further? On receipt, all those in favor? That's carried. Do you have a motion, Director Vinesh?
No.
Okay. Sayward School Parent Advisory Council. for
Move receipt.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? That's carried. And a motion, please, Director Mooney.
Thank you, Chair. I would move that the committee recommend that the board approve a grant in aid of $800 for the Sayward School Parent Advisory Council for the 2025 Bicycle Rodeo to be paid from the Electoral Area A grant in aid budget.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? That's carried. Number 3, Wild Safe BC 2025 Community Application for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Any discussion? Director Mooney?
Thank you, Chair. I really wanted to say a big thank you to Edith for completing the application and collating the letters of support which supported the application. I will say that I'm really disappointed to learn this outcome. It's not what I was hoping, but the reasoning is understandable, as we certainly do find ourselves in uncharted times of global financial uncertainty.
Thank you. On receipt, all those in favor? That is carried. Director's report, tax receipts and land donations for receipt.
Move receipt.
Second.
Second.
Do you wish to speak to this, Director Mooney?
Sure, I would love to. Thank you. Hopefully you had time to read the report, but just in case you didn't, I will just give you a one-sentence update on that, which is really that attainable and affordable housing helps attract and retain new families and workers, and it supports healthcare services and local businesses with finding and retaining employees. On Quadra Island, we are fortunate to have the Discovery Islands Affordable Housing Society and the Quadra Island Land Trust working on the issue of housing. Acquiring land is critical to these projects and expensive, so I'm interested in learning more about how the Strathcona Regional District could contribute and collaborate on this piece of the housing puzzle. So following receipt, I do have a proposed motion.
Thank you. Call the question on receipt. All those in favor? That's carried. Is a motion, Director Mooney?
Just before the motion goes up, just to be clear, like the last 2 words are with nonprofit societies. So happy to do a report on the process of providing tax receipts, but The report will, I'm just going to contaminate it for you, is that it will be internal. Like there's no partnership with other organizations in terms of us providing tax receipts to them. So if somebody, for example, wants to give something to the SRD, we can provide a tax receipt to that person. I'm just not certain about the nonprofit societies. We can't do anything for anybody else, whether they're profit, nonprofit, or anything. It's a direct relationship. So if that amends your motion, great. If not, that's fine too.
No, I think that's perfectly fine because what the motion says is including potential for collaboration with nonprofit societies. And really, I think what I'm interested in understanding is I recognize that it would be potentially like it would be a gift of land that would go to the Strathcona Regional District. However, is there a potential for, say, the giver to say, we want to give this, but we also, to the SRD, but we want to have the housing society named as a, I don't know, a beneficiary or you first right of refusal or if the land trust can be included in some way so that it maybe would provide a little bit more certainty or comfort with a community member, knowing that there would be a community connection to the land in the long run, as well as with the regional district. So that's really what I was trying to achieve with my language here, and maybe I didn't.
No, that's okay. The explanation helps. So
Okay.
that's helpful. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. So do I make the motion now?
I have a friendly amendment to your potential motion there,
Okay.
Director Mawhinney. Maybe rather than saying including potential for collaboration with nonprofit society, saying including ways that the SRD can work with nonprofit housing societies to develop housing.
Okay, great. Love that.
Okay, we're on
I haven't
receipt.
even made the motion yet. It's
Call
so
the question on
friendly.
receipt. All those in favor? Carried. All right, a motion. Director Winnie.
Okay, I'm gonna try and remember what Director Vanesh
What he
said.
said.
Yeah, that the Strathcona Regional District Board request a report outlining the process of providing tax receipts for land donations.
We have a recording.
And ways that the SRD can work with nonprofit housing societies to develop housing.
Yes,
Got it.
Second.
Thank you.
thank you.
Call the question. All those in favor?
Teamwork.
And that's carried. All right, there's no new business, no addendum items. We'll move into closed session. Motion for receipt.
Oh, move receipt of the closed session report.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor? That's carried. And the motion, please.
I'll move that the meeting be closed to the public to consider matters deemed to fall within the parameters of subsections 91E, I, N, O, and 92B of the Community Charter.
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor?